Welcome, curious hearts and careful listeners, to an episode that slows the noise and turns up the volume on nuance. You've arrived at your sanctuary for thoughtful celebrity storytelling, where we look beneath the glitter and read the pauses as closely as the headlines. This is Secrets Behind the Stars. In a world that rewards shouting and spectacle, where a scroll is faster than a heartbeat, sometimes a single line posted at the right second can silence a million timelines. As the planet counted down to 2026 with fireworks, countdowns, and recycled wishes, one woman refused to play along with the predictable. Cemre Arda, a face as magnetic as dawn on the Bosphorus and a voice that rarely stalls, chose the last breaths of the old year to release not a party snapshot, but a thought that felt like a doorway. It wasn't a photo. It wasn't a declaration. It was a fragment, deliberate and unfinished, an ellipsis with a pulse. While toasts clinked and confetti crashed, her post slid into the stream like a question that lingers in the back of your mind. In 2026, the one change I crave is, 3 dots. A suspended cord. Istanbul's gossip mill snapped into overdrive. What was Cemre signaling? She is young yet seasoned, adored yet scrutinized, and in a relationship that people love to narrate as if they wrote it themselves. And right beside her stands Gökberk Yıldırım, an actor whose discipline is legend, whose charisma translates across borders, whose schedule often collides with hers in the worst ways. Was this a cryptic complaint aimed at him? A veiled warning? A hint at collapse? The tabloids pounced. That's their job. But here on Secrets Behind the Stars, our job is different. We unearth intention. The grammar of her post didn't carry the breathlessness of panic. It carried the steadiness of someone who has learned to keep her footing even when the ground moves. This wasn't a flare from a sinking ship. It was a quiet banner unfurled by someone who has decided to captain her own voyage. She wasn't plotting a change of partner, entourage, or city. The tremor she hinted at was internal, but not isolated, a change in rhythm, a recalibration of the way she gives and receives. Not a new cast. A new script. People close to Cemre confirm what that line suggests. We're told her end-of-year message was the distilled product of months she spent listening to herself. Not a whim, not a dare, but the conclusion of a season of reflection that pulled her out of the endless commentary and into her own voice. She stopped viewing life as a sequence of surprises that arrive unannounced and started to see it as a series of choices that she can shape. She doesn't want to refashion the human beings around her, not even Gökberk. What she wants is a different cadence in the dialogue, more directness, more calm, more rootedness when things get dizzy. Less performing. More being. If Cemre once tried to soothe the room, now she intends to light it more honestly. Before we wade deeper, a pause for you, our Secrets Behind the Stars family. How often have you wished to change the tone of a relationship rather than the person across the table? Is it possible to redraw boundaries in bonds that are years in the making without detonating them? Share your stories below, your thoughtful answers and the roads that taught you. And if you value this kind of long-form, literary analysis of public lives, subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars. Tap the bell so every new chapter finds you. If you want to stand behind this work and gain access to interpretations we can't publish openly, the join button is your doorway. Your membership keeps this lens focused, independent, and humane. Now, the couple at the center of the storm of interpretation, Cemre Arda and Gökberk Yıldırım. They've been framed as an ideal, glossy, untouchable, forever photogenic. But behind performance commitments, international travel, and swarms of speculation that read meaning into every half-smile and unfollow rumor, the reality is far more ordinary and therefore far more challenging. 2 high-profile careers, 2 calendars that rarely sync, 1,000 opinions knocking at the windows of their private life. In that pressure cooker, Cemre's wish for change stops sounding mysterious and starts sounding practical. When she speaks of transformation, insiders say she wants a system built on mutual clarity and steady limits instead of a loud room where every outsider has a megaphone. The phrase is simple, but it lands like truth. They've both been pulled into misunderstandings birthed by third parties, the classic broken telephone of the entertainment world, and the interference of voices no one invited. Her North Star for 2026 is not a breakup. It's a border. She wants a protected zone where the only two people who get a vote are the ones who actually share the relationship. Not distance from love. Defense of it. Part of her plan is to reduce her public verbal footprint. Live more, speak less, is how friends summarize her new approach. In a digital age that confuses visibility with reality, Cemre is quietly opting out. She's told people close to her that joy doesn't multiply when you broadcast it, that sometimes it dilutes. Moving her heart's life into safer rooms isn't a stunt for outwitting paparazzi, it feels necessary for her spirit. She believes a model of companionship that isn't constantly narrated for public consumption will be quieter, kinder, more sustainable for both her and Gökberk. Real intimacy instead of performative intimacy. Fewer windows, more doors. As the volume of feedback fades, she expects to hear more clearly, her own intuition, his unguarded thoughts, the hum of something unbreakable. You can't talk about Cemre's pivot without tracking how Gökberk has been evolving alongside her. Those around him say he has been using one word repeatedly: balance. For a man known to push himself to the edge for a role, that is a significant turn. He isn't trading ambition for ease, he's tuning his life so that the human being behind the spotlight has room to breathe. The timing isn't random. That both he and Cemre have arrived at these conclusions as 2026 begins feels like a signpost. Their story has shifted from the fireworks of a whirlwind to the steadiness of a partnership that chooses itself every day. At a New Year's dinner, he reportedly said to friends, "We're not hunting for a different life, we're streamlining the one we already love." The distinction matters. Less drama, more essence. Less texting and more face-to-face. Less public applause and more private laughter. Together they are sketching house rules for a fortress not built of stone but of habits. Don't let set stress enter the living room, never leave a tender conversation to the mercy of a busy morning, and give each other the benefit of the doubt before listening to the crowd. The bravest piece of Cemre's resolution might be this: stepping away from the compulsion to please. She knows how the industry describes her: effortlessly sweet, always agreeable, the woman who smooths what is rough and smiles through what is sharp. But there is a difference between kindness and appeasement, and self-respect sometimes requires offending a few scripts. Sources say she is done carrying the burden of other people's comfort. Listening to her inner compass will likely look like firmer limits, fewer long explanations, more straightforward no's. Not a purge. A reseating chart for her life. Those who add chaos and competition will move to the back row. Those who bring quiet, curiosity, and grace, like Gökberk, will sit nearer the center. Call it emotional hygiene. Call it a reset in the name of mental clarity. It may surprise people who think they know her, but growth often does. Family of secrets behind the stars, thank you for choosing a channel that treats celebrity lives as complex stories rather than breaking news fodder. If you haven't yet joined our membership, you're missing the deeper layers we reserve for our inner circle. Conversations with sources, long reads that connect the dots, and early access to analyses like this one. Your join click is a vote for independence and for a craft that values careful research over easy takes. Join now and keep this work thriving. As we close the file on Cemre's unfinished sentence, one clarity shines like the New Year's first morning: 2026 won't be about dissolving bonds, but laying sturdier foundations. That half sentence wasn't a cry for rescue. It was a blueprint. Cemre has stopped waiting for the weather to change and started building a better shelter. She wants the voices around her to soften until she can hear her own again, and in that stillness, the voice of the man she loves. Far from drifting apart, Gökberk and Cemre are meeting each other in a room neither fame nor fear can enter easily, a small room filled with straight talk, protected silences, and boundaries that function like warm walls. And in that room, away from flashes and rumor merchants, love is less an event and more a practice. Less a performance, more a vow. If this story made you think about your own boundaries, your own year of edits and rewrites, leave a comment and pass this episode to someone who needs it. Like the video, subscribe, and if you can, tap join. Your membership is the reason Secrets Behind the Stars exists as more than a passing echo in a noisy feed. We'll be back with another exclusive soon. Until then, may your new year be less crowded and more true, your conversations more honest, and your heart a little easier to hear.